Well, hello everyone. Welcome. So, just to introduce myself, my name is Andrew Sommerich. I'm head of content here at Ed Microlearning, and I'm really excited to be bringing to you today a preview of our new social learning feature. Okay, excellent. Looks like we've got quite a few people here, so really pleased with that turnout. Let's jump right into it. So, social learning, we're really excited to introduce this feature. It's been something that's been being planned for a long time, and we're really excited to finally share it with you all. So that's why we really wanted to get this preview out to let everyone know what it's all about and show off the benefits of it. So here on the left, you can see what the social learning feature is going to look like for learners. And before we jump into our demo, I just wanted to talk a bit about the benefits of it, particularly from an educational perspective. So the first benefit of social learning, particularly for learners, is that more experienced staff are going to be able to participate in a community, and they're going to be able to mentor lesser experienced staff and really build up a sense of agency for themselves. They're going to be able to participate in the company's e-learning, which is a really great thing because it gets everyone involved in your company's LMS and their e-learning. Perhaps those more experienced employees who've already done all the training, you pretty much have this belief that they know everything, they can once again participate in the e-learning. The other thing is for lesser experienced employees or even employees who are curious about new products, those learners can ask questions right at the point of need. And the other great thing about e-learning, which I'm going to, about social learning rather, that I'm going to expand on in a few minutes is the notification feature. So as soon as they ask those questions at the point of need, they're going to get a notification. When they tap that notification, just looks like any other message on their phone. They're going to be able to jump right back into that comment thread and see whatever response they've gotten, whether it be an answer to a question, whether it be someone else sharing excitement for whatever product has come out, or whether it's a response to their feedback that they've given to a lesson. The other great thing about the way we've implemented social learning is that the familiar messenger design, as you can see on the left here, really takes away any sort of anxiety for learners. And it really breaks down that barrier. So a learner's going to get to this social learning feature. They're going to open up the chat tab, and they're going to be able to interact in a way that's just familiar to them. It's really, it just looks like any other messenger application. I'm thinking Facebook Messenger or even the messages section of Instagram, and they are also able to participate even if they have nothing to say. So they do open up that comments field, and they just feel like, maybe I have nothing to add, but someone's already said it. They can just give that a thumbs up with the little heart button there. Also, learners are going to be able to easily recognize which comments are the most popular or the most appreciated through that likes button. Okay, just a reminder, if you do have any questions at any point, feel free to ask. Okay, let's talk a bit about the benefits of social learning for our team leaders. This could be anyone. This could be a manager, an author, a regional manager who just wants to see, what's going on in the company. So the first benefit of social learning for leaders is that they have their best train the rest. And we really like that slogan. It basically means that your more experienced staff are going to be able to fill in those blind spots that the newer staff perhaps weren't too certain about. A newer staff member asks a question, and a more experienced staff member can answer it straight away. And the great thing about that is, all the people, all the L&D leads could be asleep, and you still have a more experienced staff member answering a question for a lesser experienced staff. The other thing that social learning can do is it basically turns your e-learning into a small community of staff who are able to mentor and learn from each other. And it really comes back to asking those questions right when an answer is needed. So right at that point of need, they're going to be able to get answers. The other great thing about social learning is that, perhaps a learner has finished a course months ago, they've left a few comments, they'll still get notifications on that course, and if people are still discussing things about that course. And what that's going to do is pull them right back into thinking about that lesson, and that's really going to activate those long-term memory strands and reinforce that information over time. Even if they're not doing the lesson again, they're still thinking about it, and that sort of significance for them, the fact that they've participated in a lesson, they're still getting people responding to their thoughts. It means that the learning isn't stopping once they've finished the lesson, essentially. The other thing, the final thing that's great for leaders is that they can get feedback on what works and what doesn't. And the great thing about Ed is that any necessary changes can be deployed really quickly with our rapid learning feature. An interesting use case for social learning could be you release a course to a select group of people, ask for comments, you open up those comments pages, and you get instant feedback on what works and what doesn't. And opening up those comments to a wider audience, you're going to get your general comments, but you're also going to get, oh, I didn't quite understand this, or, this could be a bit better, or I, perhaps a template's configured incorrectly, something like that. So you're getting instant feedback right there, and also the ability to action it comes with the Ed platform. It's really quick to action those revisions. So if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to leave them. I'm just going to move on to basically a small introduction about how to use social learning. So the first thing you'll need to do to use the social learning feature is you just go into that top right arrow here in the Ed portal, and you just open your app settings. So once you're in there, just going to go over to this social learning tab and tick that enable social learning button. Now, what's great about this is that you aren't forced to use social learning. If you use Ed now without any social features, we're not going to force your hand to use that. It's not a feature that we know every client is going to want to use, and it is something that you can definitely play around with. You don't have to activate it universally. You can just activate it on maybe one lesson or one course and try it out. But we really want to give you the control over where you use social learning. So enabling social learning in these app settings is not the only way. Is not the only thing you have to do. You also then need to go into the authoring tool. And here we are just in a normal slide. There'll be a social learning tab here, and you just tick that open for discussion column. And social learning is available on every template will be available on every template except the advanced templates like question pool, SCORM files, and URL embedding. So those are the only ones that it's not going to work on. It's just going to work on our 50 interactive templates and content templates. So learners are going to be able to discuss things on those templates if you choose to let them. The next thing that's going to happen once you tick that box is that a little chat window, a chat icon is going to come up in the top right-hand corner. It's really unobtrusive as well. So the great thing about it is that it doesn't really take away from the lesson. Learners don't have to participate in the discussion. They can keep just doing the lessons as they were. But once they click that button, this is going to pop up, this little window, and they're going to be able to press the Have Your Say button. They're also going to be able to see all the other comments in the lesson. So perhaps if someone's already said what they're going to say, they can just give it a like. They can then close that and move on with the lesson. So we wanted to really embed it in that process flow, the process of learning. If the learner does have something to say, they can say it. If they don't have anything to say, they can still interact. And if they don't want to participate, they don't have to. There's a few other features for learners. So As I've already said, you can give a heart to the best comments, which is a really great way to sort of encourage that interaction and discourage those, the cacophony of repeat comments that sometimes plagues comment sections. The other thing is you can flag any inappropriate comments. So as soon as you flag an inappropriate comment, it'll actually be reported to an administrator, and the administrator can decide if they want to remove that comment. You can delete your own comments. So if you do say something mistakenly or you make a typo, you can just delete it and type it again. And the other thing you can do is view all of the lesson's comments at a glance. This screen on the left here shows you that it's before you open a lesson, and you can just swipe through all the lesson's comments. The other thing is when you get a notification about a lesson, it's going to look like this, and it's just going to take you into that screen that's sort of an overview. You're not going to have to do the whole lesson again just to respond to a notification or to respond to one comment. So the great thing about notifications is you'll receive them once someone comments after you. So say, for example, a learner asks a question, they're going to get a notification right to their lock screen or their home screen that someone's left a new comment, which is a really powerful thing. It really enables that point of need interaction that we really encourage, and it once again empowers your employees to really participate in a learning community. So the learner simply taps the notification and they can see the other comments straight away. And as I was saying, it really does take that peer learning to the next level and really encourages that community. Let's just jump into our live demo now. Here we are in our administration panel. So I've got 3 courses in this application, in this demo application. So the first thing I've got to do to enable social learning is go over here to the app settings. I'm just going to click on that. And I'm going to come over here to this social learning tab here. So once I've clicked that, I'll enable that social learning feature. And I do have 2 options here. So the first option is I can attribute comments. So that means I can enable those comments, and those comments are going to have the names of learners right next to them. And that's really good if you'd like to build that community. Perhaps everyone in that one training application knows each other. That's a really great way to do that. The other thing you can do is anonymous comments. So you as an administrator are still going to be able to see the names of everyone who makes a comment, but no other learner is going to be able to see the names of any other learner. And that can be really useful. So we just want to give the maximum amount of control that we can to our leads who are configuring this option. So I'm just going to leave it at anonymous. Let's go over to courses. So we've got this onboarding course here, and I'm just going to edit the content of this one lesson. So once we jump into any template, we just scroll down here and we see that we've got this new social learning tab. As you can see up here, it's not enabled. If I tick that box, you get that little speech bubble that comes up. And we can even preview here from the LMS that they are going to be able to interact with it and touch that button, and something will happen. Of course, there's no comments yet. So I'm just going to hit save. And I have gone ahead and enabled it on a few other slides here. So let's go to our application now. This is the web application of Ed. As you can imagine, it's going to look very similar on any other any other device. So a phone's going to look quite similar. So let's just open that onboarding course. We'll go ahead and start that lesson. So here we've got a reinforcement activity, and we can see that up here there's a speech bubble with a dot next to it, which means, there's going to be some new comments since the last time I looked at it. So I'm going to tap on that. And here we can see, the first person has asked a question. I can't always think of something to suggest for suggestive selling. What are some good ways to get past that? And then someone else has responded, always have one or two target products in mind and use those as backup. And we can, like that comment because it's not gotten a lot of love. And then also have our say. So I think that we can leave a comment like that, giving them more suggestions and really participating in that learning community. And then we can simply close the social learning feature, can answer this question, and then we can just move on. So there's another slide here, and some people have left a comment. And someone's just given a suggestion. They've added on to this question. So, perhaps a leader can take away from that maybe this reinforcement doesn't have enough information in the takeaway, or perhaps it doesn't give learners enough because they are, getting this feedback from their learners. Or it could just mean that the employers really want to share their knowledge with other employees. So this person said, I think it's really important to always say see you next time instead of bye. And then someone else has thanked them. So let's like their thanks. And then, we don't even have to say anything. We can just close that and move on. Okay. So I'm just going to quit out of this lesson. And let's see another example. So say, for example, you've introduced a new product, this sneaker, to your learners. So this new product's coming out this week, and you really want to give learners a voice and let them discuss it. Perhaps some staff already have it in their store and others don't. They can give suggestions across the learning community. So let's open up the comments here. So there's a lively discussion going on between some managers and some employees. So this first person has said, it's important to tell customers that it's nothing like this other shoe we sell. And then the next person has said, I'm not too sure it should be completely different. And then this other person has said, calm down, guys. You both have great points. So we can just sort of quell the discussion and just say, in any case, it looks like a great shoe. And then once again, we can just move on with our learning and just continue with that lesson, see it through to the end. And we can check the comments further on in the lesson. So once again, it's completely unobtrusive. No one's forcing any learners to use this, but it's a really great thing to have, and it really builds that community among your learners. And we're really excited to introduce the feature. One other thing that we'd really love to demonstrate today is the analytics feature. So we're going to come back here to our LMS, and we're just going to go back to the analytics tab up here. We'll see that among our options that we normally have, we've got this new social learning tab here. So I'm just going to click this. And what we can see here is 3 lessons in this system have social learning enabled. And quickly at a glance, I can see exactly what's going on. So I can see that in this lesson, 4 slides have social learning enabled. There's been 13 comments in total, and there's been 2 flags. So what I can do is view this discussion because I'm a bit interested, why are people flagging things? And I can see someone's left a comment saying, these sneakers are so cool. And then another person's left a comment, which is an emoji of a shoe. So maybe I'm thinking as a leader, this emoji of a shoe doesn't really add much, and it's kind of taking up space in the social learning feature. So maybe I'd like to go ahead and remove that. So I can do that. I just hit remove and then confirm. And immediately there's a line through that. So what you do notice is that it's not gone forever. And if I have made a mistake, I can just hit enable, and that sneak is going to come right back. The other thing I can do is, remove any other comment, and maybe we'll see that line a bit more obviously. It'll say that comment has been removed. The other really great thing about this non-destructive deletion is that learners, even if they remove their own comment, you as an administrator are still going to be able to see it. So perhaps they've, said something to an employer that's not too nice and then deleted it. You're still going to be able to see that and build up a case if there is some, some untoward behavior going on there, which is really useful, and it's really just there as a safety net. The other thing we can do is on this side, we can just navigate to any other slides where people might have left comments. And here we can quickly see at a glance what people are saying. We don't even have to open up our application to see that. Okay, fantastic. So that brings us to the end of our demo. If anyone does have any questions, please feel free to type them in. We did have a couple other questions that were sent to me by email, so I'll just go through those. Someone has asked, are you able to moderate comments before they're viewable? And what we've decided in this case is the flagging system. We're feeling really positive about that. We also think that point of need interaction is really, it depends on that instantaneous nature of sending messages. So if you had to have someone sitting there approving every comment, you would really lose a lot of that instantaneous nature of the platform and that timing. So we really feel strongly that this flagging system is the best way to go about things. So I guess that about wraps up the demonstration. I'd like to thank everyone really a lot for coming. It was a great turnout today. And have a great afternoon. Enjoy your evening, everybody in North America. And thank you very much. Bye.